We got Kelly Bowlby starting on the pole, Lucchini outside of him, Gossard, Anderson, Lanning, O'Connor, Henry, Roslett, Andy Holderman, Todd Sherman, Terry Hull, 9th through 11th. Keep your eye on those guys. Gaff, Roediger, Daniels, Powell, Babcock, Dunlap, Ordway, Roadmaker, and Tom Jacobs, the lucky 20 that made it into this feature. And we got some new guys on the pole tonight. You know, we haven't seen Frankie and Kelly up there hardly at all this year.
Frankie and Kelly both past feature winners in previous years, and this year still looking for a first feature win. So it was an exciting night to see both those two on the front row trying to get in the King of the Quarter Mile.
That's right. We got some footage right here of young John Henry going into the wall. Looks like to get turned into it. This is from the turn 1, turn 2 lift cam. Lima Land nice enough to provide us a extra spot to watch the show from, and we thought we'd bring it to you. It looks like Roslett gets hit, and just a chain reaction. A bunch of cars trying to get it sorted out on the back straightaway.
Final night of racing, points racing, you're going to see a lot of drivers going for a position they might not have normally went for, and that's what happened in that situation.
That's right. It is the last night of racing for a lot of these guys. Frankie Lucchini going to lead them down to the cone. And we put a cone out there so we keep them single file and to keep each other from running over everybody. But as usual in the modified class, there is a little bit of contact, and that's what we call it Rubbins racing. But Frankie, he is trying to win his way into the King of the Quarter Mile.
That was good seeing Frankie out front, and Kelly, again, a seasoned veteran, was not going to let him get away from him, stay with him tight. Run two different lines. Frankie run the top, Kelly run that middle to the bottom, and both were fast that night.
And we got another group of cars going around. Looks like Jeff Babcock on the short end of that stick. I see, looks like Ryan Ordway down there, and can't catch that other car, but certainly Babcock, the one that ends up turned around. We're going to go back to a restart, and still it's Frankie Lucchini leading Kelly Bowlby at this point in time. And we're about to see Kelly Bowlby decide that he wants to run some laps up front. But keep your eye on that number 40, he's coming.
Terry Hull running that distinctive bottom line. You know he's coming, started 11th and making a real charge to the front. He knew he wanted to win this race, and he's going to try to make every effort he can to get up front.
That's right. Another guy that seemed to finally start getting his car working was the 22T Tony Anderson. He's up front there. That car that's smoking, it's been smoking the last 3 weeks out of Lima Land, although not short on horsepower or anything like that. That's Mike Roediger, won a feature win this year, and when it's all said and done this year, Mike Roediger going to come up to 3rd place in the points championship.
Mike had a great run this year, great season for him, feature win. He's been consistent all year, and that's what you got to do, and that's where he's going to finish in that 3rd place spot on the track point system.
All right, we had Bowlby trying to slide job in 3 and 4. Lucchini turned underneath him. That opened the door for Hull to get in there too, and those two guys up front, they don't watch out. They'll be doing their racing. Next thing you know, they're going to see the rear quarter of that 40 car going by.
It looks like something like NASCAR says that you start worrying about one, and then the guy in the 3rd hole is going to slip in there on them, and that's what Hull's getting ready to do. They're looking at each other, and Terry's going to slide underneath them.
Kelly Bowlby establishing himself as the leader right now, a little farther back in the pack. That's the blue number 56 of Jason Lanning being followed by the 21 of Sean O'Connor. And just in front of them is the 22T of Tony Anderson. Tony, one of the guys that pulls double duty at Lima Land. We'll see him a little later in his Thunderstock. And these guys, Lanning's already qualified to the King of the Quarter Mile, but most of the other people he's running around, they're trying to move forward because we didn't have a whole lot of qualifiers in the King this year from any of the divisions, thanks to Mother Nature, but also thanks to some dominance.
Well, you saw dominance in all 3 classes really, but this was nice. It was nice because we added 2 kings. We added a king in the sprint division that night. We added a king in the stock division that night.
That's right, and we'll be talking about who that is. Guessing, was that Nick? Couldn't tell.
Driver X.
Driver X. We'll call him X. X is in the wall, and on a restart, we got Bowlby leading the number 40 of Terry Hull. Terry had a little bit of mid-season downtime. It just didn't seem like luck was going his way, but he won the previous week, and he's looking to make it 2 in a row tonight.
Terry's just going to be a competitive driver every week out, week in. You know, if there's a bad week out there for him, you know, I've heard him say it before, well, I'll be back next Friday. So he's put it in perspective and concentrating on one race at a time, and that's the key, where he doesn't trick himself. He goes out there every week to win the race, and if it doesn't happen, he knows he's coming back.
That's right, and that is the 21 of Sean O'Connor. Looks like he broke something in the left front suspension there, and we're going to go back racing now. Terry Hull brings him down with Kelly Bowlby in his tire tracks. Running in third right now, I believe that's Frankie Lucchini down there on the low side, with Jason Lanning in fourth. And we're scrolling your top 20 right now at the halfway point. Yeah, Terry Hull, you know, he has been someone that I would consider to be a lot of class. He's partly responsible for raising the level of competitiveness and the level of professionalism at Lima Land this year in the modifieds.
You're exactly right. And when you got competitors like that coming in Lima every week, it's going to rub off, and you know that's something that the track prides itself on. And the other drivers, when you outrun the likes of Terry Hall, Todd Sherman, Frankie Lucchini, you know you outran somebody. And the competitions at Lima Land, and the guys that are running Lima Land, you're racing against the best.
Yeah, I really think so. I mean, I noticed like last year we were averaging 40, 50 cars in the Thunderstock class, and this year, you know, we're up around 38, 39, but really, you're talking about the top 20, top 25 dogs in the Thunderstock class at anywhere in the state of Ohio and maybe northeastern Indiana.
When you start comparing the competition, our B mains are equivalent to a lot of tracks A mains. And when you can put a field of 20 cars out there, the quality that we're getting every week, and that's a tribute to our drivers that are coming. They're the best there are, and they're racing at Lima Land every Friday night.
Well, and don't sell yourself short, Bob. I think that's also a credit to the facility, the professionalism in which you guys run the races out there, the fact that your calls are the same week in and week out. It applies to everybody, whether it be a track champion or the new guy that just showed up that week. I think that that level of professionalism is a balance that goes between the drivers and the facility.
We try to do it right. We try to constantly improve the facility, constantly improve what we're doing for our teams and for our fans. We're trying to raise the level. I mean, we're part of that and we figure into that equation, but we want to do what's right for everybody and make for a great family atmosphere when they're out there. But we're trying to raise the bar and set the standard every week.
And I think we're doing that, and especially with the track paving procedures that we're doing over the off season. It's going to be hard for these guys to get used to running on asphalt, don't you think?
The asphalt's for getting there. As Dr. Jarvis said, this thing will always be dirt as long as we have it, and she's going to be the best quarter-mile dirt track in the country when we're done with it.
Well put, well put. Just had to throw that in there to keep the crowd guessing.
That's right. Remember, you heard it from David Hale first.
Now, those two jet drivers we have sitting there have nothing to do with it, right?
They have nothing to do with that.
All right, we'll get back to some racing now, and we got Andy Holderman sneaking up on the backside of Nick Roslet. On the high side there is the 22T of Tony Anderson. Tony, always a crowd. You're talking about three crowd favorites right there, and want to shout out to Mama Roslet. Nick's mom had, I believe, knee replacement surgery on both her knees, and she wasn't there the last night of the race, but always want to shout out to some of the Lima Land folks that aren't there every week.
And she's there supporting Nick every week. You know, that one week she wasn't there, but she was right back into action as soon as health would let her.
All right, we got Terry Hull. We're getting down to the end of this race. Todd Sherman trying to sneak his nose up in there, and Todd is going to be crowned our championship on that night. Our champion on that night. All he had to do was take a competitive green, and he had the title.
Todd had pretty much rolled all season, and you know this was a night where he had to show up, you know, take that competition green, and he was going to win his championship. But again, then all eyes were going to refocus on him and what he could do in the King of the Quarter Mile.
That's right. We'll see how he did in the King of the Quarter Mile. Last ditch slide job by Kelly Bulby doesn't work. Old Terry Hull's waiting for that one, but Kelly Bulby getting the best finish of the year for him. He finishes in second. Then you got Lanning, Sherman, Lucchini, Roediger, Roslet, Anderson, Holderman, Dunlap, and Romaker, your top 11. And 12th through 20th is Daniels, Powell, Ordway, Babcock, Henry, O'Connor, Gossard, Gaff, and Tom Jacobs.